Audio Jungle.
All right, of course, you know it's bystanders at Newsstands on Flip TV. No, darling, we keep it real on this platform. Michael Adekle taking on today's edition of this program, and let's quickly check out what we have on the front page of New Telegraph newspaper. Was the New Telegraph dishing out to the public? Buhari to governors stop giving excuses on service delivery. The president to governors stop giving excuses on service delivery. With a very beautiful rider here. Oshiomole, APC state should be forced to pay 30,000 naira minimum wage. APC states should be forced to pay 30,000 naira minimum wage. 12 governors applied for $75 million World Bank's sustainability grant. Good one. 12 governors applied for $750 million World Bank's sustainability grants. Moving to another story here on Gbajabiamila. Finance bill will determine funding of 2020 budget, says Gbajabiamila. Finance bill will determine funding of 2020 budget, says Gbajabiamila. $1 billion bail. Senators without criminal record to stand as minors shorties. Wow. Senators without criminal record to stand as minors shorties. Moving to another story here. 700 patients benefit from Osun free surgical mission. 700 patients benefit from Osun free surgical mission. Presidency blocks 2.15 billion naira. Presidency blocks $2.15 billion oil commission to private firm. Presidency blocks $2.15 billion oil commission to private firm. All right, on top of the paper, MTN leads Nigeria to first 5G trial in West Africa. MTN leads Nigeria to first 5G trial in West Africa. Federal government issues executive order to Federal government issues executive order to protect telecoms assets. These are the stories we have on the front page of the New Telegraph newspaper. Let's join our reviewers from our talks. I'll be right back.
Audio Jungle.
In terms of service delivery, it seems some of the APC governors have failed to perform up to the expectation of the president. And the president is now warning them that they shouldn't give excuses on service delivery, especially in terms of paying the 30,000 naira minimum wage. What's your view as a Nigerian?
Well, as a Nigerian, I think it's a begging call from the president. But how genuine is the begging call? That I still stand to see, because you cannot call for a better life. You cannot call for a better life of Nigerians, and then you're still making them feel hardship. Though I am one of the people who has never been in support of the minimum wage. Not because I do not want a better life for the workers, but because of what has just happened, which is the increment in VAT. Because I was telling some persons that what we are going to get is, at the end of the day, the federal government might increase the salary of the workers and then take it from the general Nigerians from another way, which is what has just happened. Because you will see the increment in rice, you will see the increment in beans, you will see the increment in gari, you will see the increment in all commodities. Now, thereby bringing hardship more to the people, What I think the president should do is call more, even forget the governors. If the policies of the country is right, the governors will have no cause than to do the needful. And then, if any state that is not ripe should go for major, we should begin to see states merging. Yeah,
Just like
like
banks.
like the way banks are merging, because we have many states that they are just there just to get money from the federal government, and then enrich, and the governors get enrich themselves. Like I will always ask, have you ever heard any of the presidential aid or the governor's aid being owed salary? No, but you will hear that the workers are being owed salaries because the states are not vibrant. Tell me, what is it? What is a state like Kogi bringing to the federal post? What is a state like Sokoto bringing to the federal post? What does a state like Kano bring to the federal post? What does a state like Borno bring to the federal post? But they take money. What they take from the federal post?
You get allocation.
That's what we mean. That's what I mean by they take money from the federal post. But if the federal government goes by taking away the juice, that is when you force states to merge, and then instead of having 30 something states, and then those states are not vibrant. You rather have 5 states that are vibrant, that can touch the lives of Nigeria. To me, I prefer we have more local governments than states. Even if we have 1 million local governments that are vibrant, and then have only 5 states, it is more profitable.
Because they are closer to the people.
Because local government is more closer to the people. That is the people. That is what will solve the problem, the immediate needs of the people than the states. What we don't have states whereby we empower some people to get themselves enriched, and then lavish Nigerian money for no just cost. Look at a road like this. For how many years we keep seeing patch, and yes, we know that Lagos to a certain extent, but compared to what Lagos State generates as a state, so it's not when you answer. Even if the federal government is asking the states to pay the minimum wage, I think the federal government is not even wise in its score. That's another thing. It's not wise in its score. Before you ask a man to pay 30,000 minimum wage, what does that man generate as income? Do I need to give my child? Do I need to give my daughter, because my daughter need a hot dog, and I don't have the money to buy hot dog? I go to borrow money to buy hot dog in the name of, so that my daughter can be satisfied. I can only give my child the puff my pocket can afford, and then continue to strive to make income that would make me buy her hot dog tomorrow. So I think I think to go more further, the federal government calling the states to pay 30,000 minimum wage is that the federal government is more interested in borrowing money from outside the country, because we have seen so much of borrowing taking place. What the Buhari-led government should do is hammer on the states to be productive in terms of production, whether agriculture, whether production, mechanization, or whatever form of productivity they could go into to generate money to the states. That is what they should do, so that they can be able to pay those money. I do not blame governors who says they don't have money to pay, because look at what happened in Kogi State. At the end of the day, a day to the election, the federal government has to release over how much to the states. That's what, when you tell them to pay, they will all accept, and they will continue to owe the workers. And at the end of the day, when it's 2 days to the election, because it is APC and APC must win in that state, they will now bring money and give to them, and they will pay. And the federal government will now go and borrow money that they want to construct 5th Maryland Bridge, 3rd Maryland Bridge, 100 Maryland Bridge, and we've not seen any of those things. So the federal government should think back and understand that the 30,000 minimum wage force on the states is not the priority, but the priority is the states should be proactive. If you're not ready to produce, I think they should even give the state should even be given a target.
Let's quickly look at what of the states that have the financial capacity to do this and they are not willing to do it.
Now, the states that has the capacity to do it and they are not doing it, they are looking at how many of the states.
For example, we have Lagos State.
No, you
Lagos is willing.
now see you have
Lagos is willing.
now let's go to now let's take out of the 36 local 36 states. Now let's count the states that can actually pay this money. We have Lagos, we have Port Harcourt, we have Akwa Ibom, we have Bayelsa, we have Cross River. These are the states that can comfortably pay this 30,000 minimum wage. Out of 36 states, you've just mentioned only 5 states. The remaining 31, what now happens to their own? Now happens to their workers? You don't push something that 85% of them or 85% of the states cannot embark on. That is why you see that is why you see the ones that are capable are still feeling reluctant. Because if we start, the other ones cannot benefit from it. So the states should be given a mandate every month. If your state cannot generate as internal revenue for a state, you cannot generate at least so amount. Then within the space of 1 year, you will merge. I think by so doing, the governors will be up and doing. That's why you see people who just go and I want to become a governor, and they will just sit in the office and they will look at the calendar mode. Oh, it starts yet. Commissioner of Finance, have you gotten the alert? Yes, yeah, we've gotten the alert. Which is not supposed to be.
Now let's quickly move down to Mainor's issue. We have been given 1 billion naira bill, but people that will short it in will be politicians that have no criminal records. Now, for someone that has embezzled so much funds, so much money, giving 1 billion naira bill, now, don't you think it's absurd?
You see, when I say that Nigeria is rubber stamped, people seem not to understand what I am saying. It is MENA issue is just only an issue of let's draw his ear. When we draw his ear, he will come to our folk, and coming to our folk, we will use him to achieve what we want to achieve. The thing is that instead of giving him 1 billion naira bill, why not sentence him and then take it by fine? Or take it on plead bargain?
To teach other people lessons.
So as to teach other people, if you've taken him on plead bargain and then the man is set free. Okay, you've taken him on plead bargain based on this, we will let you go, but you've taken 10%, you've taken this, we will collect back 80% of all you've collected, and then you can now go free. And then you will recover 80% of those things. The man is gone free. Tomorrow, if you yourself has done bad, the man will also stand against you. But what we are saying today is, bring that amount and go. You cannot, and then we've not even zipped. We've not zipped them out. We have padlocked them out and thrown the key to the ocean, where you cannot talk. The day you talk, we remind you, you still have a pending case in court. So the man will say, yes, sir, and he will close his mouth. So thereby, nothing is happening.
Now, which of these senators do you think has no criminal record?
Even the president does the president not have criminal record? Does the president himself not have criminal record? I stand to challenge the president. Let him, if he says, I am not saying, if the president himself does not have criminal record, even the vice president. But you watch and see that one of them will still stand and they will accept it. And by the time they sortie him, they'll begin to tell you that man, they'll begin to sing the praise of that man. Of that man who has come to sortie him. And tomorrow in 2023, when by the time APC will begin to do election, you see Mina there, and they'll begin to sing the praise of Mina.
Someone that is on WeShare.
That's what we're telling you. So you forgot how Atiku was a bad man in PDP, and then when he joined the APC, he became a good man. and they sang his praises. Then when he cross-capital to PDP, they resurrected all the bad thing he has all the bad of. You forgot how Jonathan was a thief. You forgot how Jonathan embezzled Nigerian money, and APC won in Bayelsa State, and APC had to send him all the congratulatory message because the man the way he played out in Bayelsa State. Now they felt Bayelsa, and now Jonathan is a good man.
And PDP is against him.
And now no. It is a section because it has not been proven. It's just a sectional issue.
Some of the PDP members are against him.
Yeah, it's a normal thing you will get. They will definitely have to be against him because to them, like what we see in the papers, what we see in the news. Some of them felt that he traded it over the Malabo oil saga. But the man is saying, if you think I am involved in the Malabo oil saga, bring your evidence. And I think I challenge what's his name? I challenge the accuser, his accuser, to go and bring up the evidence against him. And if they bring up the evidence against him and he is not persecuted, then you see that you just like what we saw in the issue of what's his name, the former governor of Osun State, who worked the man who worked in favor of who worked in favor of APC. That's not, yeah, who worked in favor of APC, and then they gave him money and all his sins were forgiven. We saw it in the issue of Obanikoro. We heard all they said against Obanikoro, and Obanikoro, they came to APC and his sins were forgiven. And his son went as far as winning the speaker of winning a seat in the assembly or in the state of assembly of Lagos State. So that's why I said, from the president to the list of the politicians, they are all criminals.
Buhari to governors, stop giving excuses on service delivery. The issue of minimum wage has been a controversial issue.
Because he have confidence that the governor has what it takes to effect their establishment. Number one, they flow from one country to the other with jet. How much are they spending on jet? By maybe 1 or 2 weeks. All their children in abroad, everything in abroad, medical in abroad. Where do they get the money? So when it comes to serving the common man, they be giving excuse. I don't know why Buhari said they should stop giving excuse. Under 5 years, they say stop giving excuse. Why he no start it at the beginning, I don't know. But he know what he's talking about by telling them, don't give excuse, by giving excuse. But what they have, what these people are enjoying themselves. If you use your eye, see what they enjoy themselves. You will know that Nigeria is a rich country. They are smuggling our money to Western nations for pound sterling and dollar. A woman want to get belle overnight. They make everything fly to abroad to go and burn the child. As you join the land for airport, maybe get birth. They say this is sitting in America like Obama. They want their child to be Americana.
Stop giving excuses on service delivery. Buhari tells governors. Now, Shomole also similarly, repeated what the president said. APC states should be forced to pay 30,000 naira minimum wage.
Let them, it's next level now. Let them do it because before they went to election, some people will still vote for them. That's what they promised them, that they will be paying them 30,000 minimum wage. So it's their right. If they pay for them, it's their right, not the APC right. It's the right of the people working that want to receive their amount because that's what the government tell them. Well, because Nigeria our government have one thing in mind. If they have one thing that is still soaking them, they make promise but they could not fulfill the promise. That's only one problem that our government have. If we come to time of election, they can make promise. Everything, heaven and earth, they will say it. But when that day come, they will not do it again. That is, if they pay it, it's good. It's for the people right because they said it. They fight for it. They, because how much how much did he use to receive a month? How much the president receive? How much the senator? How much the rep receive a month? To talk about 30,000, you say you can't pay somebody working for you.
Now let me ask you a question. What do you think is the obstacle that makes the governors not to meet up to their
Because
responsibilities?
if the income, because when the government, a governor of a state, if they want to start paying the money, the 30,000, you see the governor will tell the federal that amount we have been delivering to federal, we will cut it off, we will cut it down. It will not be that amount again because every month they used to make account to the to federal or sometime a day. They make account to federal. So if they want the state to be paying 30,000 first, let the allegation that is the money revenue that is going to federal, let it reduce, yes, so that the state will have enough to now pay finance the state, finance the worker, pay them.
But they get allocations from the federal government.
They get, but the one that the state give to the government is more than the one federal give to the state. You don't know. If you talk about revenue that state pay to federal, is more than what federal give to them. Federal is a year. Sometimes they may say, in this year, let this budget, let help them and give them so amount. But the same state, the money that they supposed to use to build their state, they will be giving to the federal every good day. They will be giving it to federal. And when the time comes, maybe a year, if they want to sign a budget, the federal will say, let support the state with so amount. You understand, for the budget. That is what they do. But everything go to where? Federal. But let them allow the state to operate. Let them cut the revenue down. The one going to federal so that the state will have enough. Yes, to pay their worker. That is good.
Why to governors stop giving excuses on service delivery? Service deliveries in all ramifications, especially in terms of minimum wage. Even Oshomole has also said this.
Okay, I believe that is his personal opinion, or perhaps a suggestion, which it behoves on the governors or whosoever is concerned to either accept it or receive it based on the realities on ground. You see, if Buhari should ask them to adhere to the minimum wage, he should also review the allocation sent to them, because it also calls for more spending in order to meet up, for you to deliver dividends of democracy to your people and also pay the civil servants increase remuneration. It demands that you should also expand your source of revenue that flows into the state. It is not just a mere saying, adhere to this, deliver. How do you deliver? Even himself, Nigerians are still expecting more from him. Yeah.
Now, looking at it, what can you say is the major obstacle to meeting up to people's responsibilities? I'm talking about the governors. In this case now, what's the failure to governors, quickly, to tackle? I don't even know how to put it.
Meeting up the
requirement of people. That's the failure of failure of governors meeting up the requirements of people or their expectations of people.
In terms of governance. Yes, of course. The essence of governance is to alleviate the sufferings of the people and deliver dividends of democracy. And for government to succeed in that, he has to come up with human-friendly policies. And first of all, the federal has to decentralize power, resources. You can't tell me that Nigeria is so blessed with so many resources, both human and natural resources, and it's only end at federal exclusive lists. You don't allow, empower the states to harness the resources within their enclave. And how do you expect them to grow beyond what the resources they can gather for themselves? So I think the best thing the government can do from the federal is to decentralize power and allow these people to make use of what is within them so that they can, you create more jobs. Look at virtually most people are just riding Okada, Marwa. Their productive years, their intellectual ability, there's nowhere to absorb it and to harness it. You can see a graduate studying law, studying so many things, riding Okada. What impact? We are still depending on, imagine, for China, on so many things, which is uncalled for. But if there is room for the government policy, sometimes is anti-development. Because you can't tell me you want to develop, do this and do that. Why your body language is against it? Your policy does not encourage that. Imagine you want to access loans in our commercial banks. You will even pay your life this in order to acquire those loans. And it cannot, in such developing economy, and you expect development or scale business industries to strive. So such policies, they should look back to both financial policies and other policies that will aid development. That is the only way more revenue can be generated. And people will have a good source of livelihood and have the reward for their job or their activity.
Now, I'm looking at what the APC chairman has said, Oshomole. It seems he understands that the APC governors are really making money and some of the states are rich. Now, what does it take to pay a 30,000 naira minimum wage? No? So what's your view about it?
Yes, I have always heard this, and that remains my opinion. You see, paying of 30,000 minimum wage it's not the problem of average Nigerian worker.
Because some of the governors are complaining that they don't have that financial capacity, that the state doesn't have that the state don't have that financial capacity to pay such an amount of money.
Of course, most states does not have it. Why? Because of insincerity, unaccountability. Those governments, those governors, we want to purchase expensive and luxurious buildings outside the country. They want to invest the state money fund. They want to embezzle more as much as they can. Outside that, why shouldn't they pay 30,000 naira minimum wage? They have their security votes to themselves. They have all luxuries, all expense paid. The food they eat is being sponsored, paid by the state. And how could it be that people who have paid, who has given their lifetime to the service of the state, not being compensated for that? And you that have to spend 4 years or 8 years becoming extraordinary rich because you have engaged yourself in plundering the resources that should go to this man who has been working. So whosoever that says he cannot pay it has no brain, and he should tender resignation. By the way, why did he take up such responsibility if not to better and to have an opportunity to loot the state? There is no state in Nigeria that cannot. What is the number of civil servants in government payroll that they can't pay? What is the number? That is something we have to, before they can come up with such. We are not fools. We are learned. Let them publish the number of civil servants in their payroll and tell us why they couldn't meet up. What have been their project capital-wise, and you can see most of the resources have been voted to the current expenditure, because that is what gives them opportunity to cater away whatever they want to cater away with, and still complain. At the end of their tenure, you see them flying luxurious jets and buying the whole Dubai at the expense of the civil servants who has given almost their life. You see most of them retiring almost with nothing, not even a single bungalow.
Now, that reminds me. What's your own take on courts granting Meno 1 billion naira bail? This is someone that has embezzled so much money, and at the end of the day, he was given a verdict of 1 billion naira bail.
You see, Nigeria is a state that is so funny. You see, a man who almost stole 1.something trillion of the pension fund is moving about for several years without being called to order, without using the instrument of the law against him. And more sadly, he was even reinstated a few years ago by Buhari's administration, who came under the mantra of fighting corruption. You see, they knew that this man was corrupt, has been indicted. He went away with over a trillion plus naira, and coming down to they are just paying lip service. There is no honesty in Nigeria. In fact, the more you loot, the more chances you stand to be exonerated. The more chances you stand to defend yourself, because money becomes a defense to the looters.
And this is where we say goodbye to you on today's edition of Bystanders at Newsstands. Make sure you join us next time on this platform. Michael Adekunle still is my name. Of course, always behind the camera, Latif Adebwale in the studio. Michael Ojo editing these jobs in a good manner. Have a good day.